Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing fine today. Let's get on our jiu-jitsu. Let me just set everything up. Whoops. Get my drawing tool out as well. Morning, Steve. How are you, dude? Zoom it. Yeah. It's my drawing. Can't do it. Is it working? Oh no. I remember I changed one of my hotkeys. I have to change it back now. Draw. That didn't work. Yeah, we're back. Perfect. I didn't show you good. Alright, so let's see. This week we did reverse de la riva. We did work on, we did the kind of setup slash a few sweeps last lessons. But I'll quickly recap everything. Again, the lesson's up already, so it's gonna be a quick recap of what we did, and then we'll move on to today's, which is a bit of more passing related. First of all, when we're playing reverse de la riva, the legs and arm positioning, that's our first little beginner thing that we talked about. We also talked about difference between the ankle grip and the frames. If you guys don't remember, when someone is not pressuring you, we tend to control the ankle for better control. When someone's pressuring you like this, you're far better off using your arms as frames instead of keeping the ankle grip, because that won't help you against someone who's trying to smash you. So here's the optimum leg and arm positioning here, where we're setting up reverse de la riva. I've got my frame across the shoulder, and my other hand can change between hugging my own knee, grabbing the sleeve if you want, and any sort of frame going on there should be fine. But this is our ideal position, and if you're flexible enough, try to get that foot right on the shoulder of some sort, just for a bit more distance control. If you can't get on the shoulder, the hip is also fine, but that's a kind of setup there. Once we get that position, then we're ready to move on to whatever moves we're gonna go for. But this will keep you safe, and you will lower the percentage of you getting knee sliced, which is probably why reverse de la riva was invented, if I was to think about it, to stop those pesky knee slicers. So again, this is just a reminder for me. Knee slice prevention. It's just about being quick with your reverse de la riva and your frames, of course, but we're good there. Moving on to the sweeps that we did last week. First up, we have our over the shoulder roll. Your indicator for this is when someone's pressuring you. They should stop pressuring at some point if you got a perfect reverse de la riva. It means they're a bit more stubborn, and if they keep pressuring you, we can get this kind of wrist control slash arm drag grip here, and we can pull them shoulder to shoulder and overhead sweep them. Now this sweep was made famous by the Mendes brothers, I believe. They used to do this a lot. Works great in no-gi as well, and it's kind of really simple The main moves people are going to teach from reverse de la riva is the kiss of the dragon, but I think this is a bit better than the kiss of the dragon at beginner level and easy to remember. So I'm calling that the arm drag over the shoulder roll. Time to use it when they're pressuring you. Can't do it if they're not pressuring you. It's really hard to do unless you got a really nice arm drag. Now the only time this is going to go wrong, not wrong, but you can use this to set up different guards. Your primary other sweep that goes well with this is your X guard transition, which basically means you're going to do the arm drag, they're going to step in close to you, and you can get access to that leg. And that's just your basic sit up sweep there. We do have, I think, one leg X lesson or X guard, where we look at that guard a bit in more detail. But that's the two combinations there. I'm gonna go, if I set up my reverse de la riva as a beginner, I'm gonna get my legs and frames in position. Gonna try this arm drag to roll them over. And that's just essentially a backward roll that we do start the class. And if that doesn't work, usually it's because they have a good base. They're quick, really reacting to the arm drag and stepping forward. When they do, you catch that leg and you get underneath them. So that's our first little two sweeps that I would encourage people to learn from reverse de la riva as a beginner. Next up, I would teach them how to recover guard. So going back to an open guard scenario, because if you're in reverse de la riva, that's kind of a mid-range guard where the person is still kind of quite close to you and they can pressure you. We'll see it later. There's a lot of passes that they can do. So if I am an open guard player and I want to feel safer, I'd rather go to something like de la riva or collar and sleeve. So here's the recoveries to that. First of all, we're just going to do, I think it's the open guard one. We'll start off in reverse de la riva just like we did. But this time I'm choosing not to attack. Maybe the person is going backwards instead. They're not really attacking you. And if we only learn the sweeps that I showed you just now, we need the person to be pressuring us to be able to do these two. So when we can't get that going, I'm going to just recover my guard by getting a collar in the sleeve. You can start using your reverse de la riva hook here to kick them a little bit forward to make them base slightly or off balance them a little bit. I also push them away with my foot. And now I can start getting my bottom leg free onto the biceps there and setting up my open guard. Square my hips, and that's me all set up. So from here, obviously we're gonna start attacking straight away. You're gonna recover to attack. You can shoot for omoplatas, triangles, whatever your moves are from there. But again, recovering guard here, collar and sleeve, foot in the biceps, and square your hips. Now you're a lot safer than before, unless you're very good at reverse de la riva. The secondary guard recovery I kind of like is going back to de la riva. This is quite simple. This is just exactly the same as this kind of recovery, but instead of looking for the fast sleeve and squaring our hips, we're gonna take our de la riva hook here and we're just gonna post it on the fly. So again, the person can't be pressuring you at this point, really difficult to do, but there it is. I just switched from reverse de la riva to foot on the hip. And now I'm just going to swap my hands over and go to the de la riva guard. So often if you do this quite well, or if the person doesn't have a good base, maybe they're down on their knee or something, and you do the spin, they can get off of balance and get swept as well. But that's our kind of de la riva recovery. This is a really good one. I use it quite a lot. So that's our 2 recoveries. Of course, you can transition to other guards, but this will give you a little backup. If your reverse de la riva isn't working, you can go back a step into kind of safer guard. Now we go into the stage where my partner is not pressuring me, and we can feel our reverse de la riva hook is getting a little bit weaker. This is where we're going to switch to the ankle grip. There it is. So she's not pressuring me, so there's no point of me keeping my hands here ready to frame or something. So instead, we're going to set up our standing sweeps. The first one I advise to learn is the tripod sweep, where I'm going to extend my reverse de la riva hook behind her knee here. There. And then it's just a kick and pull. You come up on top. Regular tripod sweep. De la riva leg extends far. Hooks and trips. Then we get into the fancy stuff, the kiss of the dragon. You learn lots of entries to this. The biggest thing I'll tell you to learn is not to spin at the wrong time. Make sure that you have enough space to spin underneath, and you have good knowledge of how to spin. Knee close to your chest. Here I'm switching to the waiter grip that we talked about before, which is like holding a platter in your hand. Spin underneath. My knee goes in through first. I control both of the legs so that they can't spin in either direction. And here, if I'm talking in advanced terms, I don't want my partner here to drop onto the hips. So I'm using my legs to keep her up off the ground. Because if she turns into me, then I lose the back usually. There's my butterfly hook in. Pull the hips down and extend. So that's our basic kiss the dragon. I'll show you one more time without me talking. Switch, spin underneath. And it's just practice that. You get smoother and smoother the more you kind of drill it. Your other options, which is just kind of a bonus thing here, we will go into them a little bit in depth later. But there's several other guards that you can play while playing reverse de la riva. The lasso is one of them. Lasso or spider. So you can do lots of lasso sweeps, exactly the same ones that you learned from regular lasso, just with your reverse de la riva in place. So just keep that in mind. You can spin under just like we did in our lasso lessons. Sweep them. But again, we'll look at these a bit more in depth in the future, because these are more advanced kind of guarding. But that was our first lesson on reverse de la riva that we did on Monday. Again, that was just a quick recap. Any questions, ask them now before I move on to today's class. Anything that's confusing. But again, the lesson is on YouTube, so you guys can check it out. Today we're going to look at the passing aspect, which is going to help us when we do the advanced kind of reverse de la riva stuff. Because if you know the passes, you know basically all the dangerous spots while you're playing reverse de la riva. Knee slice. No matter how good you are reverse de la riva, this is your biggest threat, the knee slice. You could be a very good reverse de la riva player that doesn't get knee sliced often, but if the person on the top is doing the correct thing, it is still one of the most dangerous passes that you can get as the person on top. One way to break someone's de la riva, so this is almost like a counter lesson, by the way, but we're not countering any of these moves, we're just countering the basic reverse de la riva, okay, on a beginner level. Chris here has gotten her reverse de la riva. She's doing the correct thing where she's putting the foot on my hip. Ideally on the shoulder would be better, but I'm gonna force this knee slice, okay? Now, if I just try a regular knee slice, I shouldn't be able to go through, okay? Because remember, she has all the frames properly, and it's really difficult for me to do. But my job here on top is to get her mind off of her legs. So if she forgets a little bit about her legs, I can usually go through. And the way I'm going to do this is by leaning directly over her on her frames. Okay? So she's going to be constantly kind of framing me with her arms. And I'm just going to keep the pressure there. And often the legs will kind of loosen up, because they're mostly worried about the upper body. At the same time, I've got this grip here on the inside. If you can get that grip on the inside, you're often in a better position than the person on the bottom. That's why that foot needs to go on the shoulder. But if you're really good at knee slices, you should be able to still get past. Okay? So again, I'm just leaning all my weight on top of her arms. I did switch to a deep hook here, and slicing through. And gi, exact same thing. They'll often have a collar grip on you, on the sleeve grip, but that won't stop you. You'll be fine. You can grab the collar here. You can grab the trousers. We'll see it later on. Lots of different scenarios. Don't give up on the knee slice just because someone's doing reverse de la riva on you. It's kind of weird, but reverse de la riva is probably the best counter to the knee slice, but it doesn't mean you still can't do the knee slice. Alright, the combinations start now. So long step, that's our first kind of the reverse de la riva kind of killer slash pass. Now in this case, this is no gi variation, but in the gi nothing is gonna change except for you might want to try this with a trouser grip. But the biggest difference between the no gi and the gi one is what I do with this arm. In the gi, we can usually grab the collar, and it makes it a lot safer. In no gi, I have to go over the shoulder or underneath the arm, because a hug of the head in no gi is not that good. So I'm gonna go over the shoulder. I'm just gonna long step out. Fairly safe to do. We'll see what happens if we can't get a leg out, but that's our long step pass. In no gi, we're also going underneath the legs instead. We get a really deep grip there, instead of a regular ankle control, because again it's really slippery. That's our basic long step. Moving on to the reverse de la riva passes, we have the banana split, which is if you do a long step and you drill this, you'll pick this one up really easily. It's basically the same pass, but one minor thing is, instead of bringing my arm over the head, I'm gonna actually go through the legs. So we're starting off from kind of a high position like this, and you notice how I get a grip onto her shin. This is to stop the foot pummeling onto my shoulder or hip, and that's gonna give me enough space as well to thread that arm through. There's my arm threading through, and now it's just a basic long step again, but in a pressure scenario. So I just lie back. This is the banana split aspect of it. I'm kind of opening her hips that way and this way. And you can, if the person is kind of unflexible, you can start extending your leg backwards, bringing your heels to your hips, and you might tap them there, or just use it as a pass by stepping out. Again, so you can see the difference between them two. Here's the long step. I'm going over the shoulder with my left arm. Here's banana split. I'm going in between the legs with my left arm this time. A great time to do this, we talked about a little bit in the last lesson, right? Where people swing their legs really wide open when they're going for a kiss of the dragon. Here I'm doing the correct thing when I spin, right? But let's say instead of bringing my knees towards my chest, my leg is swinging out open to create momentum to get underneath, which a lot of people do. That would be a great time for you to get this banana split pass, because it's way easier to get that. And that's one of the reasons why we don't want to use that swing to spin. So that was our two kind of long steps. So that's style passing from reverse de la riva. Long step, you can use it any time you like. It's kind of a dynamic pass. Try a knee slice, doesn't work, you can switch straight into a long step. The banana split one, I would only use it when I've got enough space to go in between these legs, even when the person is inverting, or in this case I have good control of her shin, and then I'm able to sneak through there and do the pass. Now we get into a little bit more of a standing kind of passing style, and this is made famous by Gordon Ryan. If you watch any of his fights, he does this a lot, but he works really well in the gi as well, I find. This time we're basically just standing straight up, and with our left arm we're gonna start annoying the person by pulling their head up. I'm gonna take a reverse grip here on the shin with my arms. Reverse grip just means you can see the palm of my hand there is facing the camera. Normally you'll be the back of my hand facing, so that's the main difference there. And take a reverse grip, extend my arm to get that kind of nice extension, pull up on the head, and I'm just gonna step out. And you'll be surprised how easy you can step out of people's grips. And the main thing is because this grip here annoys them. Often they'll let go of the ankle to push your hand off. And again, if you don't step out, it's not the end of the world. But here I'm just stepping out through the gap here into a knee on belly position. The pass won't be as easy as that, of course. If you watch any of his kind of fights, you'll see him doing this a lot, and then combining it, because the person's gonna shrimp obviously and face you, and he's gonna combine it with some form of Toriada style passing, or eventually forcing the half guard, which is his kind of most common scenarios. But that's our step out pass. Highly recommend it. Easy to do. Won't get you the pass, so you've gotta be creative with your passes afterwards. But it is pretty easy. Moving on, this is more of a kind of dynamic style passing again, where we're changing directions this time. This is gonna be the first change of direction we did. And again, there's lots of good players that do this. Here, I'm going into a knee slice scenario, but I'm doing slightly a different thing this time. I'm trying to pressure my opponent as much as I can, ideally on this side. My other hand is on her knee, just to prevent her from taking the leg out. But here I'm not really trying to pass it. I'm just trying to kind of bring her knees towards her chest, on the hopes that at some point she starts extending it. Now, this is where we're gonna kind of again do the same thing as before, where we're keeping her mind off of her legs, of my legs, by pressuring. Whoops, something happened. I went out of it. This one, yeah. So again, I'm putting as much pressure to keep her mind off of my legs, and then suddenly I'm just gonna walk backwards like this and drag the leg. And again, they'll have an ankle grip. If they have the ankle grip, you might get stuck, okay? But you can still try to drag the leg, you can still do it. If they don't have the ankle grip, this pass works really well. Again, back away and then extend. We get a nice drag there, and then you can do your leg drag kind of scenarios. One more time. And drag. What was the guy who was really good at this pass? I forgot his name. JT Torres. If you watch any of his kind of no-gi stuff, that's one of his favorite passes. Yeah, Rafa's really good as well. Yeah. Anything to do with leg drags, Rafa will be there somewhere. The last little thing we have here is, I don't know if I'll show it to you, but we will look at all the other entries in the future. But if you're just sick of trying to pass and it's not working, you can do this step over to attack the legs. This is where you just take a hugging grip of the leg instead and do an aggressive step over the top to go for a 411 or a knee bar of some sort. Now there is a right time to go for this. You can see if I don't beat this frame, it's not very likely that I'm gonna get through. So I have to dive my hand underneath there like this to create enough space to go through. This shouldn't be in a beginner's lesson, to be honest. You're probably gonna either hurt someone or hurt yourself doing it. But once you get a little bit more body awareness and kind of know the right timing, you'll be good to go. And I've been caught by this a lot, so it's a really good good entry / submission. But in terms of today's stuff, we should have a basic understanding of the regular reverse de la riva pass, reverse de la riva guard, and we know how to tell between a good reverse de la riva and a bad one. Okay, a good one, you see people doing all the kind of controlling points, because control is way more important than any of the kind of sweeps and things I'm going to teach you. Because if you don't have tight control, if you don't have good distance control, you get all of these passes, even if they're not right. You can just do a messy version of this and you'll be fine. And so in our passing lesson, what you're going to think about when you're doing all of these good stuff, if the person is a really good reverse de la riva player, is getting rid of these foot on the shoulders, getting rid of these frames, and also noticing whether the person is controlling your leg or it isn't. And that's how you're gonna kind of beat the good reverse de la riva players. And so, looking at it, we have our regular knee slice. Again, don't give up on knee slice. Think of that hand on the hip. Think of getting rid of this first of all. That's your first barrier. Second barrier would be the frames, which you should beat if you beat the legs. And notice if the person is controlling your ankle or not. I'm a big fan of reverse de la riva. Is a good alternative to conceding half guard, which I do way too often. Yes. I'm the same, right? This is the tricky thing about it, because it really depends on your style, of course. But from the lessons we did, right? You could tell me or ask me, didn't you tell me that quarter guard or knee twist is a very good guard to stop the knee slices? Which I said in the past, right? Which is this bit here, where they go for a knee slice. In this lesson, I tell you guys, if someone's knee slicing you like this, instead of going to la riva, I did tell you guys to go quarter guard, which is here, where I look for the underhook and I go here, right? So it's not right or wrong what you're doing. It just depends on what style you're going for. Like, you could be successful both. If you want a real good time to go for it, the reverse de la riva should be your first barrier, because if you lose the underhook, you can't get your half guard going on. But also, in this case, right, you could get your half guard in place like you normally would, where you cross your feet, and then you can transition into your reverse de la riva. But they're always gonna kind of contradict each other. But it's not right or wrong. But I totally know what you mean. Like, there'll be weeks where I'm gonna do reverse de la riva like this, and there'll be weeks where I'm just gonna accept the person slicing me and take half guard instead. It'll be easier if you know if the guy's either good at passing half guard or passing reverse de la riva. If you know his weakness, it'll be a lot easier. But that's our knee slice. Our long step here. So again, the biggest difference between the long step, in the gi, we would grab the collar over there and we're getting nice and tight. No gi, we go here. Banana split pass, we're gonna use this when someone's spinning the wrong way. I will film all the kind of wrong things that we tend to do, and I tend to do as well, at a beginner level later, so we can look at it. Step out pass, this is a brilliant one. If you really hate reverse de la riva, this is good. Leg drag scenario, so try the pressure of your knee slice, doesn't work, back away, drag. Changing directions is really good as well. I don't do it often. And then the knee bar, step over just to scare them. We're just sick of the reverse de la riva, and you'll be good. The concept of having layers, defense, I'm still working into my game. I normally start half guard to work from that. Yeah. Like I said, it's at a beginner level, I like to tell everyone to learn all the layers, and once you get into, like, it's always good to have an A and a B game. Of course, when you're going to competitions, you're not going to risk those things that you're not good at, but at the gym, I think you should be practicing all of those kind of 7 layers there. Even if you're not good at those, you get better and better over time. But I'm like that as well. I don't play a lot of spider, to be honest, when I'm competing and stuff. I would just go straight to my A game, just de la riva and half guards. But I do want to get better at all of those kind of guards, so it is good to practice. But yeah, We're all guilty of that, so don't worry. Alright, that is today's lesson plan. Any questions about any of these passes, fire them away. And we'll move on to the quick little breakdown towards the end. And we will look at the no-gi kind of beginner leg locks next week from reverse to la riva. We'll do top and bottom. But this should give you a basic passing kind of scenario, a basic sweep, and more important, the controls and the recoveries, which is these two. But let's see what I have been up to this week over here. And you guys can ask any questions you like while I look at this. And if you have to go, that is the lesson. So right now I'm just gonna look at rows that I did and look at mistakes that I did or my student did as well, and just write some notes for them. But we've been working on, well, he's been working a lot on his open guard here. In the first few weeks we saw that he only plays kind of half guard and lasso, by me forcing him to play a bit more open guard. But here he's setting up his lapel stuff. There I'm just going from side to side, trying to annoy him a little bit. This is a good little tip for any people who are stuck in this kind of spider lapel game. Often I bring my other hand underneath the foot, and you're gonna see me clearing his hook right now. So I grab the trousers, and then it's almost like a figure four when you lock up a kimura. I'm gonna grab my own wrist and I'm gonna flare my elbow up. And now if I could get his leg down, that'd be a nice leg drag for me. But I think he does a nice little recovery here. But that really helps against those players. He gets inverts underneath. Kind of messy there, but I end up in kind of a smashing scenario. And he pushed close guard. There it was just me kind of keeping the pressure on. I shouldn't have given him close guard, but I just do it because I didn't put my knee up. So you can see me, my knee is in a bad scenario there, so I get caught in close guard. Didn't notice that annoying glare. Here it's really good. You can see I've opened his guard and he instantly goes to the la riva instead of waiting for me to pass. And a very deep de la riva as well, which is great for him. I do a kind of a stomping kind of de la riva to get his hook off. Here we go, he's right behind me. He gets a bit too carried away here and lets go of my ankle. Here he could have changed from the grip here to the trousers, so he could start inverting underneath me. But I think he off balances me. He sees me off balance here, and he gets a bit confused, I think, and thinks of a single leg instead by coming up. And then you can see he didn't have my leg, so I just step out. Stack pass attempt. Does the correct thing here. There's his Granby. We've been working on Granbys a lot, so this is a plus for him. It's good to see this one. So here normally he would turtle and give me the back or something to avoid the things, but you can see he grambied instead, which is the correct thing. If he was in the wall there, he would have recovered. That was really good. If you guys remember the last clips, he would kind of turn away suddenly all the time. Give me the back. So here's collar and sleeve. He breaks the collar, which is nice. Breaks the sleeve. A little bit of grip fighting. Anytime someone's breaking stuff with me, I don't really fight it. I just switch to a different grip. So he breaks that. I switch to the other sleeve. Playing the riva on the other side now. Does a nice pull up of my wrist. I switch to collar and sleeve again. And off balance him slightly. Straight to a berimbolo attempt. So there, he gives me the move because he keeps pressuring me on my de la riva hook in this moment here. So if someone has collar and sleeve on you and a reverse de la riva hook, you should be knowing an overhead sweep is coming of some sort or off balance. So you need to back away. There's nothing good that comes out of here of you pressuring. So he pressured. You can see me lifting him up. He bases because he does have base. So I grab the ankle now. And I'm just using the momentum to get behind him. Switch to the belt. Invert underneath. He does the correct counter, grabbing that leg, pushing it away. I should go leg drag at this point. But I kind of just fight it, force my way into it, which is not good. But I get the pretzel here, get underneath him. Now I switch to crab ride. Little leg battle going on here. I get my X, I get a deep hug of the hip. Right now he just needs to keep his back to the floor and not let me elevate his hips to avoid the back take, which he's doing correct there. So I should come up on top now, but I'm greedily looking for these. I do manage to get a twisted hook there, but my dojo's fooling. Reset. He sits back. Berimbolo attempt here. Now, here we go, some reverse de la riva action. Let's see what happens. I think that's just me attempting pressure his hooks. Now, here's something he's guilty of doing quite a bit. He does this really dynamic move to get his underhook, which you probably everyone here can spot it. Oh, 1 second, guys. I'll keep the movie playing for you guys, but I think there's someone at the door here. Be right back. I'm back. Alright, let's see what did I miss. How did this happen? Oh yeah, I was talking about his underhook. He does an aggressive underhook. That was a really nice twist sweep attempt there. I managed to scramble out, go to front headlock. Let's see if I do my turtle moves from here. He does a turtle wrestler switch, but it ends up a little bit bad there. Spins underneath, I spin with him. Little aggressive underhook throw. That grip there's not saving him at the moment. And then we go into our half guard scenario. This is a pass we kind of did in the past. Oh crap. With the near underhook. You guys remember when a few lessons we did where I mentioned if I can't get the crossface, I often get this near side underhook. And then I slice through to the other side. Couldn't get the slice there. Felt off balanced. But I did get the 3/4 position. We're off shot a bit here. And he does a bridge and I end up in mount. And you can't see the rest of the round, I think. Because we just roll on this a little bit. And then that's time there. But yeah, I usually do some tips for him at the end. So I think this one was, oh, his counter. I might have gotten him a choke. And one of the counters you can do is grab the sleeve and spin. It's quite dangerous, but you can spin like this to recover. It's like a last ditch move, but it works really well. And that's probably it for today, guys. My little cousin's arriving. Doesn't stop talking, so I'll go see what he's up to. Hope you guys have a lovely weekend. Any questions, fire them away. Message me or something. And if you want any of the PowerPoints and stuff, let me know. I'll send them your way. Cool? Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.